centre here on the Glaslyn floodplain has been here for a number of years. Bywyd Gwyllt Glaslyn Wildlife took over from the RSPB a few years ago, and we run it now as a charity. The vast majority of people here are volunteers. Only one is a paid employee. We do have an education officer as well, but we managed to get a grant for her. There are 4 known breeding pairs in Wales. This is the oldest breeding pair in Wales that still survives. Been breeding in the Glaslyn Valley since 2004. Our female is the same female that was here in 2004, so this is her 15th year of breeding, and to date she's produced 33 chicks to fledging, all of whom have flown south over the mountains and probably to West Africa to overwinter. And of those 33, we know of at least 5 that have returned to the UK that are breeding in various other parts of the UK, from Kielder to Scotland to Cumbria. The osprey, the osprey was extinct in the UK from the beginning of the 20th century. It's still an incredibly rare bird in the UK. It's our 5th biggest raptor, and as far as I know, it's the only one that migrates. It's purely fish eating, despite what some of the books say. It just eats fish. The Glaslyn nest is in the perfect position. It's the Mayfair of all Glaslyn of all osprey nests, because the ospreys chose that tree. The nest blew down in 2004, but people decided to build a man-made nest in the same place. The ospreys chose it. It's the only one in Wales that the ospreys chose. The birds can go back into the mountains to the Cums to feed. We've got the River Glaslyn that pools towards Porthmadog where they can feed, and they've got 2 or 3 coastlines, so they've got a perfect choice of where to go, and a varied supply of fish. The female we recognise because she's been coming back for 15 years. She's quite a feisty bird. She's got particular markings. All ospreys have different markings. They're recognisable to those geeks like me that look at them all the time. Our male is a lot paler and a lot smaller, as all raptors are. The males are always smaller, so he's 15 to 20% smaller than her. He's very, very pale and much younger. We can tell that because he's not as darkly marked. Neither of our birds are ringed, however, so it does take a little bit of experience to recognise them. All our chicks, however, are ringed. They're ringed at about 5 or 6 weeks, so if they do come back to a nest, which has a camera on it, we can recognise them by what's called a Darvik ring on their right leg, which has got numbers and letters on them. Ospreys bred in Wales up to about 400 years ago, and they've been extinct in Wales until this nest and one other was discovered in 2004. They're iconic birds, and they're actually very popular amongst all sorts of people, from landowners even to fishermen. And there's something about them. They have a special personality. Their talons, their eyes, their nostrils, they're all perfectly adapted to do what they do. And they're still incredibly rare. They're the most protected species in the UK, amongst the most protected species in the UK, and we love them to bits. Ospreys return to the UK normally towards the end of March, beginning of April, and they're here for 5 or 6 months. That's their breeding season. They migrate beginning of September, normally to West Africa, some to southern Iberia, to southern coast of Spain or Portugal, or even to North Africa. So the best time to come, really, if you want to see ospreys and their chicks, is probably June and July. In August time, the youngsters are starting to fledge and are moving away from the nest, practicing their flights, ready for their 3,000-mile migration, which they do on their own without their parents. As far as Glaslyn is concerned, we're always looking for new volunteers, not only at the visitor centre to have interaction with the public, but also at our protection site, because once the birds are back, because they're so protected, we have to look after them for 24 hours a day. There's a risk of egg thieves, of people disturbing the birds on the nest. Even now, egg thieves, in 2018, people will still do that. So we're looking for volunteers. If people are interested, please come and see us or phone the number on our website. Full training for everything be given, and you'll really be welcome, because we're desperate for volunteers all the time.